Over 90% of major projects fail. You've heard that statistic. What you probably haven't heard is that they rarely die from a single dramatic blow. They die from 1,000 tiny self-inflicted cuts that were visible from day one. This script details a simple 30-minute technique used to see those fatal wounds before you ever make the first one. It's a method for looking into the future and attending the funeral of your own bad idea. And chances are, the project you're most excited about right now has a catastrophic flaw this technique would expose in minutes. This technique is called a pre-mortem. It comes from the psychologist Gary Klein, who noticed a deep paradox in how we plan. We spend weeks mapping out every step towards success. We build timelines, assign resources, and rally the team around a positive vision. We do everything to aim for the best-case scenario. And then, we are consistently shocked when reality delivers something else entirely. The pre-mortem short-circuits this. It forces you to start from the opposite end of the timeline. You gather your team, or just yourself, and you begin with a simple, chilling statement. The project is over. It has failed completely. The power of this frame is immediate. In a standard kickoff meeting, the social pressure is immense. You are expected to be enthusiastic, supportive, a team player. Raising serious concerns can make you seem negative or disloyal. Nobody wants to be the person who pours cold water on an exciting new idea, so people stay quiet. The junior engineer who sees a potential server overload issue keeps it to himself. The marketing lead who knows the target audience is wrong just nods along. The room is filled with what psychologists call pluralistic ignorance. Everyone privately has doubts but publicly signals agreement, assuming they are the only one with concerns. This creates a collective illusion of consensus. It's a conspiracy of silence that dooms projects from the very first hour. But the pre-mortem shatters that social contract. By announcing that the project has already failed, the entire dynamic flips. The goal is no longer to be supportive, the goal is to be the best detective. The question shifts from a speculative, what might go wrong, to a forensic, what did go wrong. Suddenly, it's not only safe to be critical, it's your job. You are now a historian of a future disaster. The social rewards go to the person who can generate the most plausible, insightful reason for the failure. The quiet engineer now has permission to speak. He might say, "The reason we failed is that our user base doubled after the press release, and our servers melted. We were a victim of our own success because we never stress tested for it." The marketing lead can add, "We failed because our messaging attracted advanced users, but the product's onboarding was built for beginners. We created a massive expectation gap, and our one-star reviews buried us." These are not vague anxieties. These are specific, causal stories. The pre-mortem turns a room full of cheerleaders into a team of expert diagnosticians, and it does so by creating a safe imaginary space to confront uncomfortable truths. But this is just what it does for teams. The real leverage comes when you turn this lens on yourself. That's when it gets personal. Your own brain is the most persuasive optimist you will ever meet. It's a master at underestimating timelines, ignoring inconvenient details, and focusing only on the desired outcome. A solo pre-mortem is an intervention against your own internal propaganda. The process is brutally simple. Take out a piece of paper or open a blank document. At the top, write the name of your goal. Maybe it's start a successful freelance business, or run a marathon. Then write this sentence underneath. It's 1 year from now, and this has failed utterly. For the next 15 minutes, write the story of that failure. Be a journalist covering your own disaster. What happened? What was the chain of events? The key is to be specific and mundane. Your freelance business probably didn't fail because of a global economic collapse. It failed because you hated making sales calls, so you never did them consistently. It failed because you spent all your time perfecting your website and none of your time finding actual clients. After the initial excitement wore off, you found you missed the structure of a regular job and the guaranteed paycheck. The failure was a slow, quiet erosion of discipline. Or consider the marathon. The story of failure isn't a dramatic last-minute injury. It's that you tried to go from 0 to 10-mile runs in 2 weeks, got shin splints, and grew discouraged. It's that you never figured out a sustainable schedule, so your training was constantly interrupted by work and social commitments. You missed one long run, then another, and the feeling of being behind schedule became so overwhelming that you just stopped. This process is uncomfortable because it forces you to confront the boring, unglamorous realities of execution. Your biggest risks are rarely external threats. They are your own habits, your own tendencies, your own blind spots. The pre-mortem holds up a mirror to the least productive parts of your own nature. It reveals the exact mechanisms of your personal brand of self-sabotage, but knowing how you will fail is only the first step. The reason this works so well goes even deeper, into the very way our brain constructs reality. The work of Nobel-winning psychologist Daniel Kahneman provides the explanation. He identified a phenomenon called prospective hindsight. Explaining why an event might happen is a forecasting exercise. It's abstract, and our brains are notoriously bad at it. We generate vague, generic risks. But explaining why an event did happen is a history exercise. Our brain is wired for narrative. When we assume something has already occurred, our mind automatically starts searching for a plausible causal chain to explain it. It connects dots we would otherwise miss. It's the same reason that after a disaster, the causes often seem obvious in retrospect. The pre-mortem allows you to access that power of hindsight up front. You're giving your brain a puzzle with a known outcome, failure, and letting it do what it does best. Build a coherent story that leads there. Think about a major life decision, like moving to a new city for a dream job. The optimistic forecast is full of excitement, new friends, a great career, a vibrant culture. The pre-mortem tells a different story. It's 1 year later and I'm miserable. I'm planning my move back. Why? Because the job is demanding, so I work late and never have the energy to go out. The city is expensive, so I live in a small apartment far from the center. I haven't built a real social circle because making friends as an adult is hard, and I underestimated how much I relied on my old network. I'm lonely. This story is powerful because every single step is painfully plausible. It's a sequence of mundane problems that, when chained together, lead to a catastrophic outcome. The pre-mortem doesn't just identify risks. It shows you how those risks interconnect and cascade. It reveals the complete system of failure. And once you see the system, you can begin to dismantle it. This is the final, most crucial step. A pre-mortem is not an excuse for inaction. It's the ultimate tool for strategic action. You now have a detailed list of the most likely ways your plan will fall apart. Each reason for failure becomes a specific problem to solve. Each bullet point on your failure list becomes the first item on a new, more intelligent to-do list. For the failed freelance business, the reasons were a hatred of sales and poor client acquisition. The action plan becomes dedicate the first 60 minutes of every day, Monday to Friday, to outreach and follow-ups. Use a template to make it easier. Track the numbers in a spreadsheet. For the failed marathon, the reasons were burnout and an inconsistent schedule. The action plan becomes find a pre-existing, conservative training plan online. Block out the specific training times in my calendar for the next 3 months as non-negotiable appointments. Start with runs so short they feel ridiculous. This transforms the entire emotional landscape of the project. The vague, paralyzing anxiety of the unknown is replaced by a clear-eyed view of a few concrete challenges. You are no longer just hoping for the best. You are actively armor-plating your plan against the most probable forms of disaster. The confidence this builds is a world away from blind optimism. It's the earned confidence of an architect who has spent as much time stress-testing the foundations as they have admiring the design. It is the calm of a pilot who has spent hundreds of hours in a simulator, crashing in every imaginable way, so that in the real world, nothing can surprise them. You have stared into the abyss of your own failure, and the abyss handed you back a blueprint for success. This process reveals a fundamental truth about ambition. We are taught to visualize success, to focus on the goal, to maintain a positive mindset. Those things have their place, but the most resilient plans are not built on visions of victory. They are forged in the careful, deliberate, and systematic contemplation of defeat. The goal is to experience the most painful failures on paper, where the cost is nothing more than 15 minutes of your time and a little bit of ego. You fail cheaply in private so that you can succeed expensively in public. You let a dozen imaginary projects die so that one real one can live. Most people approach their goals thinking 2 or 3 moves ahead. They are trying to find the path to victory. The pre-mortem is about playing the entire game in reverse, starting from your own checkmate. You map out every possible way you could lose. You study every dead end, you familiarize yourself with every trap. You do this until you've eliminated all the paths that lead to ruin. And then you are left with only one